Alright, so now it's time for the Q&A for the VAs. So, for this, we're going to start with introductions. Hi there, I'm Dante, also known as DarkAbridgerEX. I voiced Leon, I also did Chris, and I did Jake. I also did Piers. I did Piers in episode 5, and then I did the whole little Piers in the glitching moments of Chris's hearing. And I also did that really pain in my chest and neck Ustanak fucking killer.
Hello everyone, I am SacredTear and I did the voices for Sherry Birkin and Ada Wong.
It's Levias Toukozu, and I did the voice acting for Piers from RE6 Spood.
He also played the dude waving the camera along with Arvin, the Japanese dude, and the bus guy, Oko, and the jet alongside with me that went Leon Kennedy! And every fucking helicopter! Also with us is Jason Trant, who voiced Leon in episode 4. He is not vocally here because he sent me a document with his answers rather than answering it vocally. I'm not sure if he missed that or anything, but he didn't make it in time to actually vocally record it, so I will be reading it for him.
Greetings, friends, fans, and foes alike. I am Michael Potok, otherwise known as RenoRebirth, and in this series I voiced Jake, Simmons, and quite a few extras. Until I quit.
My name is Justin Chumas, and I provided the voice of Derek Simmons and Finn McCauley.
And tons of little roles.
My name is Ronda Mitchell of Euphonics by Ronda, and you can visit my website at www.euphonics.net. And I'm an experienced non-union voiceover talent based in Gainesville, Florida. I have experience voicing web promos, commercials, e-learning projects, documentaries, and I've done several radio dramas and anime projects.
In case you guys didn't know, that's our Carla.
This is Garcia, the voice of HAOS and one of the Preggies in episode 12.
Hey everyone, this is Avdepaz, and
He forgot to mention the roles he played, such as the various zombies and Javos, his slightly bigger roles being Brazak, or however the fuck you pronounce that gigantic shark's name, Stevo / McSlashaPowers, and not Piers. Shadowbat / Dom was supposed to have his Q&As in this video, but it's been taken out because he wouldn't fucking shut up about it from my Q&A and the rest of the bloopers that I was trying to work on. So, too bad, Dom. You had your moment, but you wouldn't fucking shut up about it. I'm kidding. I am pulling your leg. I am ripping out your leg and hitting you with it. Just, a little bit more patience, yeah? Because, you gotta be careful what you wish for, because, you might get it in a way you don't want it to be. So, good thing this was a joke!
Hello, my name is Dominic.
He played various Javos, one of the many mysterious voices that clues Leon through the lame church's puzzles, Marco's dad, himself, and Jeff. How did you get involved with the series?
This is after the first 2 videos that Dante posted, mostly after the second one. Arvin and Levy were in it, and so I was like, this sounds like something pretty cool to do. I used to do a lot of videos, but, give it a try, and I just asked him, hey, if there's any extra parts that you need some variety of other voices, I'd be down, and just kind of went from there.
Actually, it's more along the lines of this. Dom made a joke about me secretly saving his appearance in the Spood for later, taking notice that Avdepaz and Levy were involved in episode 2, as he had mentioned. And so, whether he was genuinely joking or secretly hinting that he wanted to join in with them, I yanked him in.
I just joined in regardless. I mean, Dante and I were discussing stuff. I'm like, why not? Get me involved. I want to do some shit. Okay.
I got involved with the series by personally knowing the director. I knew Dante from high school, actually. I met him there. And we hit it off. Things were going pretty well. Sometime around junior year, senior year, he started making the Spood in general. I think he started with RE4.
Technically, it started in 8th grade on DarkAbridgerEX, but when he saw it, it was on DarkAbridgerEX during my sophomore years, so...
That was an experimental Spood that he did for a little while. But anyway, he started making RE6 a couple years back in 2013, and just... He'd show me the episodes periodically, and I'd be kind of like, okay, that's nice. But when I actually got involved, I told him that, hey, Dante, I got a new mic. Is there anything I can do for you? And he said, yeah, actually, try this out. And I did, and he said, perfect, you're hired. So that's how I got the job doing HAOS. It kind of sucks that I came into the end of the series, but oh well.
I got involved with the series when Dante picked me up on the side of the road when I was holding a little voice for food sign.
I got involved with the series after seeing a casting call on Behind the Voice Actors put up for it. I didn't really have much voiceover experience at the time, and this was back when I used my really bad laptop mic for auditioning for things, so I figured, why not audition for this? I sent in an audition for Jake, Leon, I think, Simmons, and Finn McCauley. Finn was the one I wound up getting at the time, but I got cast as Simmons after that. Thankfully, I got a better voice acting mic, as many could tell. I use a USB microphone, and yeah, it's worked wonders for me. So that's how I got involved with the series.
I auditioned, and I got the part.
Jason Trant's answer. I was a frequent lurker of BTVA every so often, which wasn't very often at all. I would find a project that sparked my interest. I would then record a little audition for said project. It was mostly fun, but it was also very good practice. To have to meet a deadline, to make sure my recordings were presentable, to force myself to make time out for recording. The project starter, Dante in this case, were always very flexible, however. Anyways, I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil series, so auditioning for this particular project was not out of the ordinary. I honestly didn't think I was going to get the part. I did, somehow.
Well, it all started back when Dante and I were playing RE6 for PS3. We were just, messing around, and he brought up the idea that he wanted to do a spood, or a parody. I liked the idea, so I asked if he wouldn't mind having me as one of his voice actors. I only found out that he was more than thrilled to, because he was looking into finding more voice actors. Excuse me, I fucking burped.
Okay, so that's a lie. Now, I don't exactly have the convo, but the story actually goes along the lines of him wanting to voice Piers when I told him about the RE6 spood, and so I decided, well, I could do for some more voice actors, I guess, so we'll give it a shot. So that's how that happened, and I felt like his voice, managed to work for Piers in some way, so that's why I casted him as Piers.
And yeah, that's how I started doing the voicing for his RE6 spoods and the other things that I might have been without my knowing.
Which was only this. Hey there, baby. Wanna get hot with this?
Oh, hey there, girl. Wanna work with Mother Nature and get with the green guy?
What the?
I first got involved with the series actually a long time ago. Dante had an audition for Resident Evil 4 spood, and I tried out for that, and I was cast as Ada, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. But I never heard anything. I think the project took a while to get off the start, and I never heard anything. So I had subscribed to him, and eventually I saw some more Resident Evil things, and I just never watched them. But I was like, okay, well, he'll let me know when Ada comes in, I'm sure. But that never happened. So then I started seeing Resident Evil 6 recently, and I was like, hey, I just played that game. That'll be cool. So I watched the most recent episode, and it was funny, and I was like, hey, this is great. By the way, am I still Ada? And he's like, holy crap, where did you come from? And we basically just had a big miscommunication, apparently, so.
Well, actually, that RE4 audition she mentioned was from long ago. Like, 2010 long ago. With the original first 3 episodes of Resident Evil 4 The Abridged Spood, which came a halt after episode 3 because that's that whole story that I mentioned on one of my individual Q&As where I became a Let's Player until I decided to get back into the business. And at that time, I had pretty much got the idea that all the VAs that I had casted had moved on to other things. So SacredTear contacting me after RE4 Episode 3 remake was quite shocking, and I was glad that she was here. I'm glad she's here!
ended up that the recent Ada had disappeared, I guess, so he was like, hey, well, you can be Ada. And I was like, hey, that's awesome. And he's like, hey, you want to be Sherry? And I was like, I will try. And so that is how I became Ada and Sherry for the rest of the series.
I already explained this in my other video. I'm not gonna waste your time. What was your thought process in doing the voice you did for your character?
Well, I tried to take it like super serious, but I think the funny thing is it's one of those, you take it like so seriously, but you fail so hard at it that it becomes funny. So I want to say it was kind of a win. Best example is the third episode with, I believe, Jake. And the guys come running in, and then my line where I say, you had one job. It was probably my funniest moment with such a serious line, even though it wasn't supposed to be serious.
Considering I'm just more of like the backup leads, they were quite fun to do actually. The only thing that was hilarious is when I had to scream curry powder, because I know Dante had a blast because I was the one yelling, curry power! Ow. They were generally quite fun to do.
There really wasn't any thought process besides what Dante gave me. He just told me, for HAOS, he said, dude, how well can you do a wacky inflatable lip gloss monster? And I thought, oh, well, I'll just sound like this. Hey, boys. Gotcha, Chris. And he said it was perfect. He loved it. So he gave me the part of HAOS, made me record some lines. You know, I got involved with the series near the end, which kind of sucks. But I gave him not only lines for HAOS and the Preggy, but also lines for the generic Juavo. So if he wants to go back and redub the series at some point, then, you know, you might hear a little bit more of me.
As far as my thought process for doing the voice, Dante gave some really great direction for Carla, and I tried Ada, Carla, and I tried to channel my own inner crazy into her voice as much as I could.
As far as thought process goes for doing the voices for the characters, when I first auditioned, I stuck to a little rule I like to call the Kung Pao rule, which I use when auditioning for abridged projects. Basically, if you're not familiar with the source material, just come up with silly voices for the characters, and that's where it came from for me. For a lot of the extras, I just used whatever voice popped into my head, whatever I saw fit. But for the two characters that had the biggest parts in the series that I voiced, Finn and Simmons, I had some pretty funny ideas for them. For Finn, I based it off a 12-year-old going through puberty because, you know, there's the voice cracking and stuff, and so that's what came to my mind, because he's the, you know, really sort of bitch boy to Chris Redfield in a sense. As for Simmons, I took a look at him and thought immediately of Tim Curry, so my Simmons voice is me doing a really shitty Tim Curry imitation. I know I don't do justice to Mr. Curry, but I tried.
Well, for Jake, I know I can't do a very good Troy Baker impression, so I just tried to channel that energy that he used for the character, and for other roles I'd heard him do recently. And, you know, I just tried to give a little bit of that energy to Jake, and I think I did all right. I don't know. And as for Simmons, I didn't really have anything in mind when I did that. I just kind of made up a fucking voice for him. I didn't have anything specific in mind, and apparently Dante liked it, so, you know, that's cool.
Jason Trant's answer. Well, if I'm being honest, there wasn't much thought-provoking process involved at all. Being that it was an abridge/spoof, I had the luxury to make Leon my own. A lot of my humor stems from shows like South Park or Family Guy. I am also very familiar with the Resident Evil series, so if I ever needed to make any kind of reference, I could. The lines were already laid out for us, so there really wasn't any need to divert from the script. I would improvise and add things every so often, but I didn't want to take too much away from the direction of the project.
My thought process was, I wasn't going to try and imitate the character, you know, trying to sound like him. I was just, you know, trying to sound cool, but, like, not trying to sound, you know, change the way I sound. Just what I would be saying, or how I would say them in that, you know, current situation.
My thought process in doing the voice for my characters, originally I thought he wanted Sherry to be like an actual Sherry. I didn't know he was making her an airhead, so Originally I tried to match her voice, but then he's like, hey, look at the earlier episodes. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I tried to match what they did, and they just did so well. So I tried to match them, but I didn't do too good of a job, I think. But as for Ada, she's pretty much this awesome badass. So I just tried to be a seductive badass, I guess. I don't know. That's what I was going for.
I already answered this in another video. Why am I even showing up? Is there a game/series you will never do an abridgement or voice for?
Nothing really comes to mind, so no, it's not really anything I wouldn't really do.
None. I will continue trying to do voices for people and stuff, so...
If someone was going to abridge Boku no Pico, then I wouldn't do that, because that's, like, fucked up, and, you know, I wouldn't really be keen on voicing a young boy having sex with his school teacher, because that's fucked up. Anything else is fair game, though.
As far as whether a series or game that I would never do, I'm not quite sure. I don't voice any character that involves graphically sexual, violent, or vulgar behavior or speech. So I'm sure that cuts out quite a few games. But otherwise, I'm kind of open for whatever opportunities there are.
I will voice for any abridged parody, really. Like, if we're gonna abridge an anime, I'll do it. A video game, I'll do it. A Western cartoon, I'll do it. Kids show, I'll do it. I'll even abridge live action if someone wants to. I'm open to abridging all kinds of stuff, really. There's nothing I don't have a problem with making fun of at all, really.
I can't really think of anything. I primarily don't do fan dubs. I have nothing against the Bridge series in general. No, I wouldn't partition anything off as, you know, being not okay to abridge or lend a voice to. Yeah, I'm down for pretty much anything.
Jason Trant's answer. Everything is fair game. Need someone to voice a character in a dating simulator? I'm your guy.
As Dante said, Resident Evil 5 was horrible, so I won't be doing that. I probably will never do a abridgment or voice of manly idols or girly idols, just because I lack the talent to do so. I really gotta brush up on my voice acting skills. I won't do fan dubs or anything like that. I mean, if I was asked to, if I felt, you know, generous to do so, maybe, but I don't know, I just don't think I'm really that good to do any kind of voice acting for that matter.
As for a series or game that I will never do an abridgment for, actually not really. I'm usually pretty open. I mean, I love voice acting, so anything I can get is good. It would probably be awkward for me to do any sort of hentai, probably. I mean, I'd probably still try it, just cause.
So, Umi X Ellie gets to be a thing, right? Wink.
I don't know. But as far as specific series or games, not really. I mean, if there's anything I hated, probably. There may be specific characters I don't like, but I mean, whatever. I probably wouldn't try for them in any way. But no, nothing really. I mean, I'm pretty open to do whatever.
Something other than my own shit. I would never do anything I'm not familiar with. Even, like, for voicing-wise. Unless I plan on getting familiar with it. Like, I auditioned for, like, a Fatal Frame thing, and I've never played Fatal Frame. Now I'm playing Fatal Frame. So, that's an exception. If I take interest into the series, I'll probably audition for it, even if I don't know it. But for the most part, you'll find me auditioning for things that I know about. Because, you know, that really helps when it comes to, you know, getting involved with anything, especially if it's a parody. Have you played Resident Evil 6 or any of the Resident Evil games prior to voicing in it?
Actually, before, I hadn't really played RE6 when he first started recording it, I recall. The only RE game I played was Resident Evil 5 back when it first came out. You know, it's probably not the best game to, like, first start off and then make your opinion on the whole series, but that's just how it kind of started. Eventually, RE6 was on sale on Steam, so then that's when I bought it and played it with Dante. I enjoyed it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Outbreak. Outbreak File 2. What else was there? I think that's it. I just haven't played the ones on GameCube because I don't own a GameCube. And then there's Survivor. No, Survivor 2 is the Japanese. Survivor 1 I played. What was the other one for PS2? Guide? I don't know. I'll just call it the one with the white American and Chinese girl on it.
I played Resident Evil 6 and 4, those are pretty fun. I never played the original ones, though, so I'm kind of a giant fucking plebeian when it comes to Resident Evil. But I'd played RE6 and 4 before, so, you know, I kind of had this idea of how to voice the characters, which Dante totally went against. I was like, don't you want to make them menacing? He was intent on making them silly and laughable, and I enjoyed that.
I have never played the game at all, but I am sure that my children have played it because they are addicted to video games.
I have not played any of the Resident Evil video games at all. I've seen parts of the, I think it was Resident Evil Apocalypse or Resident Evil Extinction. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but I've seen parts of one of the live-action movies and thought it was terrible. I hear there's going to be a TV show that's more faithful to the video games coming out soon, so that might be interesting.
Yes, I have played Resident Evil 6. That's all I'm going to say about that. Before I played Resident Evil 6, I played Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. I tried playing Code Veronica, but I just couldn't get into it. I did not enjoy it. And RE6, I mean, I'm not gonna get into all that.
Jason Trant's answer. Religiously. It's such a great game. Still, RE4 has to be the game that I'm most fond with, as it's the most close to my heart.
The funniest moments I had was when Dante, meanwhile we were recording my lines, he said to try and imitate what I would sound like inside of a helicopter. So I, put my mouth...
I'm sorry, but you put your mouth where?
Put my hand over my mouth, and to make it echo, I just did what I did, and from then on I was the voice for every helicopter guy in that series, so... Another funny story was when, you'll probably faintly hear it, but I was recording and I had some of my roommates in the background being particularly loud. So if you try and pay attention to it, I won't say which episode, but you can faintly hear it.
I actually have played a lot of Resident Evil games. Well, I feel like I have, but I haven't. I haven't played the originals or the classics. I can't remember what I started with, if it was 4 or 5, but regardless, I played 4 and 5 and 6. And Mercenaries 3D for the 3DS, and Resident Evil Revelations, and I just recently got Revelations 2, which is scary as shit. Yeah, so I played a couple, not a lot, I guess, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Well, I kind of already explained that story. I mean, as I mentioned before, my first game was Resident Evil 4, but I was one of those people that then branched out to play the other games and, learn, understand the origins. So I became a pretty big RE fan, just as much as I love House of the Dead. I think it goes without saying that I liked 2 the best, naturally. Still waiting for a fucking remake. And, That's my choice in terms of the classics. In terms of the modern-day Resident Evil games, if you had to choose between 4 through 6, I'm not going to count Revelations, because Revelations is a good game, but it's on its own standing. So, in terms of the action direction they really took for the games, I would say 6. Because if you're going to go for that whole action direction, 6 had the best, involvement for all that action and stuff and all the fucking complaints people had from the older games. So, yep. For the roles that had multiple VAs, such as Sherry, Ada/Carla, Helena, Hunnigan, Simmons, etc., how did the VAs feel about it, having to live up to the previous one?
Well, probably doesn't really apply to me because I wasn't really any of those main characters, just the extras. But overall, I just thought it was always funny when the new episode would come out, and then it's like, oh, hey, it's either Dante or somebody else. And then the best part is when he tries to say why he sounds different, to make it part of the whole spood thing.
This question technically applies to me because my role, it was going to originally have, I think, Ada and Carla's VA doing HAOS's voice.
By Ada and Carla's VA, he actually means Ronda Mitchell, because that's who I originally was going to assign it to, but
Dante, on a whim, asked me, hey, can you do this? And he loved it, so that's why I became HAOS. So I didn't have to live up to anybody else, because there was never anybody else to begin with. Just an idea that there would be.
I was unfamiliar, again, with the previous voice artist for my character, and but as I listened back over, it sounded like we were pretty well aligned. I think my voice was a little bit more maybe mature and sultry than the previous artist, which is fine and good, but I said overall I think we were in the same realm as far as overall sound. I don't think fans of Ada or Carla would have been disrupted by the different voices.
For me, at least as Simmons, it wasn't really difficult to live up to the previous voice actor. Originally, Simmons was voiced by Michael Potok, a good colleague of mine who I voice over with in a lot of stuff. Before we could really get into the series, he only had one line as Simmons and only appeared as Simmons in episode 4, I believe. After he dropped out to do other projects, it wasn't really difficult to live up to his original voice, mostly because it's kind of hard to go off one line, and I didn't really feel like imitating him, so I just did my own thing with Simmons, and yeah, that's what happened.
To be honest, I don't think anybody did Jake or Simmons before me. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't watched much of the series. So I guess I was the one they had to base, they had to fucking, I don't want to say live up to, just, I was replaced, obviously. So, yeah, I guess I have no real answer to this question since,
Jason Trant's answer. This question doesn't really apply to me. I believe Dante took over Leon when I had to bail. I had just begun audio broadcasting school, and shortly after getting casted, literally 2 sessions in, I was offered a job. I now work in radio at iHeartMedia.
Oh my gosh, when he showed me the original voices for Sherry and Ada, I was like, oh my god, I'm not even going to be coming close to what they did. They just did so amazing, and they did such a good job. Oh gosh, I really did not think I did well at all, but I tried my best, and I guess that's all I could ask for. But, the 2 who did Sherry, I remember Michi Baka, I forgot the other one, but they sounded so similar, like, between the 2 of them, so I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that it was a second person. So when I came on the scene, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just not even close to similar to what they sounded like. And Ada, oh gosh, same thing with Ada, everyone just did so well, and it was so hard living up to their expectations and everybody else's, but I tried my best.
I gotta want to say to all the VAs who managed to fill in for, the voices such as Sherry, Carla, Helena, Hunnigan, and Simmons. Bravo, you guys. Like, you somehow just managed to pick up the dust that they left behind and just keep it going. Especially you, SacredTear. With the low confidence, you did a great job. Believe in yourself, girl, 'cause I believe in you. You're doing good. Pat, pat. But everyone else, you guys still did a good job regardless. I'm just letting SacredTear know that she didn't do crap. She was amazing, right? She was amazing, right? Everyone give SacredTear a goddamn applause! What was the funniest moments you had when recording for the series? Any funny stories?
You had one job. Others, I wish I kept the recordings for some of the outtakes, but definitely the ones where, like, I just have to make dying sounds or say curry for, like, 30 to a minute or something. I remember my roommate walked in and he just had the funniest look on his face, like, what the F am I doing? Definitely good times.
Just having a call with Dante and being like, what the fuck did I mess up? Doing lines and getting help from Dante is actually okay, and there's some funny parts, and then we discuss shit and then side topic.
Bullshit. He totally forgot our recording session when he did Steve-O/McSlashaPowers in episode 8. Because that was the most hilarious one we did. Because McSlashaPowers wasn't originally in the script. That was just something we came up with on the spot while he called me to do his lines. I don't remember how, but we brought up Austin Powers somewhere in our side talks, and then I just told him to do the lines like Austin Powers, and that was some priceless shit right there. Especially when we came up with the idea to have Austin Powers to cut off the pole. Oh my god.
The funniest moment I had definitely had to be when I was doing the yells that HAOS would make as he was chasing after Chris and Piers, and also the scream he did when he threw Chris to the wall, because those were just hilarious. They were really lame, but they were also really hilarious. So I ended up going, "Ah! Ah!" That was pretty fun, actually. I enjoyed that quite a bit. There weren't any real stories to tell about that. Just he gave me the lines and I worked on them for a week while my folks were out of the house. I had a good time, though. I really, really enjoyed it.
Funny moments working on the project. There were a couple of funny moments that made me laugh. Anyway, one was when Dante asked me to put together a 60-second ramble about events that Carla had previously been involved in. Carla had been previously involved in. And again, not knowing the game, I had to get some backstory information and then piece together some semi-coherent ramble. And I had fun doing it, and I think it came out fairly humorous. Another interesting request that Dante gave me was having to sing the Dead, Dead, Dead song. Dead, 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 dead. Out of the blue, he just kind of threw that one on me. I'm not a singer at all, so I had to practice that one for a while before I submitted it.
I don't exactly know if this is a funny moment, but I am a college student, so we started recording episode 11 or 12, I think it was, when I was in college. I forget what episode it was where I was the voice of the merchant, but I had to do a lot of yelling, so I was kind of nervous. A bunch of the people I live in the dorm with would come knocking up to my door like, what the fuck's going on in there, or something like that. Thankfully, no one did that or anything. I got through the recording of that just fine, and yeah. People probably think I'm crazy though, but whatever. I'm an artist, I guess, so you kinda gotta consider us crazy.
I think it would have to be, I forget which episode it was, but I had to voice, I don't know if I was voicing the tank or just some funny little narration introducing the tank. I couldn't decide on what voice to introduce the tank using, so I just kind of, I just kind of threw a bunch of different voices together, and I was like, okay, Dante can use one of these. It's a shame that only one of these takes will see the light of day. As it turns out, he just kind of meshed all of them together and made it one long, well, not long, but, just one take with all the voices that I used. So, that was kind of funny and cool. Other than that, I can't really think of anything.
Jason Trant's answer. My problem is that I'm easily distracted. Squirrel! While recording, maybe 5 minutes in, I would break out into a full-blown Disney karaoke songs, or start giving my character accents, which were all useless to the project itself. This extended the end product of my recordings by quite a stretch of time.
The funniest moments I had was when Dante, meanwhile we were recording my lines, he said to try and imitate what I would sound like inside of a helicopter. So I, put my mouth...
I'm sorry, but you put your mouth where?
Put my hand over my mouth, and to make it echo, I just did what I did, and from then on I was the voice for every helicopter guy in that series, so... Another funny story was when, you'll probably faintly hear it, but I was recording and I had some of my roommates in the background being particularly loud. So if you try and pay attention to it, I won't say which episode, but you can faintly hear it.
I didn't really have any funny moments when I was recording. I guess I had some bloopers, but most of it was just me stumbling on my words and not being able to read the script sometimes, but nothing really hilarious. I guess something I mentioned earlier was he wanted a normal voice for Sherry, so then when he's like, by the way, this is what I wanted, I was like, okay, my bad, because originally I was like, let's go, Jake, we need to go and try this, and then he's like, no, you need to be an airhead, so I was like, oh, okay, so it went from, let's go, Jake, to let's go, Jake! So yeah, that was quite a difference.
So actually, for the one moment that I had to fill in... for the one episode I had to take over for Sherry, I was just like, oh my fucking god. I don't remember what went through my head. I must have did that, all of her lines naturally, but that was ridiculous. Fucking being Sherry is not happening again. It's like a fucking pushing my falsetto and squeezing my balls to death. Oh my god. That was amazing. Like, the majority of my recording sessions. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think, for the most part, I managed to get through most of my lines back in the day naturally. I think, like, I never really, like, broke down laughing out because, like, being the person who wrote these jokes, it takes a while for them to register to you because you wrote the joke, you know what you want, all you're thinking about is just the business part of it. And so it takes, like, for you to rewatch your shit to realize, oh my god, this shit was stupidly funny. What the fuck? But I gotta say, a hysterical moment for me was when I just broke, or my Ustanak recording sessions. I think one of them would be, like, my breakdown. Once I had said the last line for Ustanak, I was just like, oh my god, it's over. Like, before I recorded Ustanak lines, I was just like, I love my voice. After Ustanak's lines, I love my voice. And then I had to do all that improv shit for the fighting scene. Any favorite lines you had to say, or ones from the series you liked the most?
I loved Chris Redfield's lines. Do you know who I am? I'm Chris Redfield. Redfield, punch! Those are usually my favorite. I always love the Chris Redfield episodes.
Curry Power is the only thing that I put my heart and soul into it. I'm not sure what else, but yeah.
My favorite line that I said was probably, Chris, wait, take me with you! Aside from, no, sorry. My favorite one is, oh, I'm sick of this abusive relationship. Like, the first time I said that, when I was reading through the script, I was reading it to myself, and the first time I came across that, I busted a gut laughing, because it was just so out of the blue, but I loved it. My favorite line that's not mine is probably Dante and Levi's combined, "You son of a bitch!" when Piers stabs HAOS in the gut. But I also really liked Jake's "For the Applejacks!" At whatever fucking point in the series that was, because that was just fucking hilarious.
More than once, actually.
For the Applejacks! For the Applejacks!
Oh,
I can't pick one particular line that Ada or Carla had because she had so many really flippant ones that made me smile. I just like her kind of crazy, sarcastic persona, and I enjoyed voicing her very much.
Not sure if this is asking about favorite line your character said or favorite line in the series in general, but for my favorite line in the series in general, it's probably anything Chris Redfield says, particularly,
"Do you know who I am? I'm Chris Redfield. I punch boulders. Do ya?"
But my favorite Simmons line would probably have to be, "What? You're leaving me because I'm ugly? Oh, why?"
Not particularly. Not to say that I didn't enjoy any of the lines, but you know, I don't like to pick favorites. There was no one line I said that stood out to me that was like, okay, yes, this is a definitive moment in my voice acting career. No, I enjoyed all the lines equally. I don't pick favorites. Well, actually, there was the one episode where I had to, I just had to shout, drill him at the top of my lungs. I can't do it now because I just woke up. I'm still in morning voice at the moment, but I was like, drill him, like really loud, and it was funny. I enjoyed that. I think if I had to pick a favorite line from all the lines that I did, that would be it.
Jason Trant's answer. I didn't have a favorite line, but I did have a blast recording for the series. Well, the one episode I was in, anyway.
I like the fact that I was able to do those Guilty Gear references at the last episode. I mean, pitched those ideas to Dante, and he seemed to like it pretty much. So, I'm pretty happy with that.
A lot of Sherry's were just fun. Like, I liked that she was a heroic airhead. So pretty much any of her lines were great. As far as ones from the series, the only one that I can really think of off the top of my head right now was, I think at the start of episode 9, when Chris was coming out of his flashback, he was just like, "And I am confused." And for some reason that was just hilarious to me. Just his deadpan face expressing confusion. I thought that was funny. But there was a lot of lines, so I mean, I can't remember them all right now, but Dante did really good scripting, so I like them all.
I can't answer this question, actually. I love everything that I fucking write, okay? If I had to mention one from each character, even that's hard. I know, like, Chris has so many fucking iconic moments. Like, fucking... It's like the fucking moments in this script. I had wrote something different, and then the fucking trainer just like denies it, like Chris rolling up the hill, and said he just runs it up. So I had to change the fucking line to, fuck your fucking physics, I'm Chris Redfield. Or like the fucking moment in episode 11 where Chris is supposed to be in dying status after being smacked by HAOS, and he's like, no, fuck your fucking dying status, I'm Chris Redfield. And I'm just like, oh my fucking god. I kind of liked those moments, because it's just like fucking Chris just rejecting my script and just doing his own shit. For Jake, anything that involves screaming, you know, like fucking Apple Jackson. Oh no, I think if anything, my favorite line had to be, like, in terms of his whole anger and rage and all those moments from Jake, I think I could not replace the fucking, like, the finishing move when Jake just beats the living shit out of Ustanak and then just straight up punches him right in the fucking face into the lava. I had made sure that when I wrote that line and delivered that line, that was going to be the best fucking thing I said ever. There you go. So there's Jake. And as for Leon, I can't pick one. Oh, no. I like the fucking line where he fucking where he questions the fucking plot. Because really, that plot is fucking stupid. A fucking love quarrel. Are you fucking kidding me? So, that's my favorite line, for Leon. And as for Sherry, Overdrive. This is because it's like that scene was the most intense fucking thing. And then you got Reno who's like being so motherfucking intense and crazy. And then you got just Sherry just like at a place like, darling, yeah, you're going crazy, Jake. And then just fucking shrilling overdrive and all that shit. I think I also like the part where Sherry just like gets knocked by Ustanak, and then I just break from Sherry character. I go like oof as I hit the floor. Now that I mention it, you guys will now notice that I go oof as I hit the floor. So, yeah. There's my moments. Is Dante nuts? Of course not. I'm not nuts, right? I feel like I'm about to hear the exact opposite from everybody.
It's a little bit of an understatement, but I mean that in the nicest way possible. Just, you know, it's Dante for you. As, you know, it's just him.
Which means yes.
I've been living up to his shit for quite a while, and I'll just let you people decide upon it. It's a hit and miss for me, but we're bros. What's there to expect?
He secretly means yes, he is nuts.
Dante is 100% unabashedly, certifiably, completely insane, and I love him for it. He's nuts, and he knows he's nuts, so he just writes all kinds of crazy shit into his stories, and we all go with it, you know, it's a hell of a ride, and I've really enjoyed being on this one. I was really sad when the 12th episode got posted.
As far as whether Dante is nuts, I have to say, as a fruitcake, yeah, he's nutty as a fruitcake, definitely.
No, Dante is actually a pretty normal guy. I mean that. He's a cool dude. Like working with him.
I don't know. When we spoke, he seemed relatively cool and normal. I don't know. He very well could be nuts. I don't know.
Jason Trant's answer. Yes, very much so. Take caution. Oi.
Sometimes, but, I mean, the dude's my friend. He's like my brother. So, I mean, the least to say, if you know a guy long enough, you don't even really notice it. Hell, I might be nuts myself.
So basically, yes. And so is he.
Yes, Dante is very nuts. He's very crazy, but in a good way. One, he's nuts for even doing this, because he puts so much time and effort into these projects, and I would have given up a long time ago. I had to do half of what he was doing, so he's awesome for still sticking with this and not giving up, because I would have a long time ago. So he's very nuts for doing this, but he's crazy in a good way. You're doing good, Dante.
Thanks, One-chan. That still means yes, though. Close enough. Any words you'd like to say for the fans?
again, I'm Dom, and if Dante does streaming again, just know that I'm the troll of the group. I try to screw around and make life difficult when we're playing games, so to speak, especially Left 4 Dead and all that, but overall, just looking to have a good time whenever we can, and hopefully Dante does more of this stuff and keeps the fan base going. Seems pretty cool. So yeah, that just about does it. So, peace.
The only thing I would probably have to say for the fans is,
Go get bent, you fucking scrubs.
yeah, that's it.
Any words I'd like to say for the fans? I don't know, because the fans haven't really said much to me, so... Well, there's, the generic stuff like thank you for those of you who've been here since episode 1. Thank you for sticking with the series, because, you've done certainly a better job with that than I have. I only really got motivated around episode 10 to watch the series. The rest of you who joined up, thank you for watching, because it's been a hell of a ride for everybody else, and going back and reviewing the entire series has been a hell of a ride for me, because, there's a lot of stuff I missed the first time around because I didn't care as much. But that's about it, really. So, thank you for listening and for, encouraging Dante in making this series because, he passed down that encouragement to the rest of us. And it turned into something really great, I think. It's really stupid. It's stupid as hell, but it's been fun. It's been really fun to make this series. So, thank you to everybody for being a part of this.
As far as the fans out there, I hope all the Carla Ada fans enjoyed her. And I appreciate very much being part of the project. Thank you very much.
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head to say to the fans, but if I had to, I'd say thanks for supporting the series. You're all wonderful people. We may have had quite a bit of bumps in the road due to losing a lot of voice actors and stuff, but thanks for supporting us, and I hope to keep working with Dante. Because, let's face it, I love this material, and I love Dante's sense of humor in his writing. Thanks for supporting, though, and, may the force be with you, I guess.
You guys are pretty cool.
Jason Tran's answer. To all my non-existent fans, if you think nobody cares if you're alive, try missing a car payment or two. Fuck, man, that's pretty deep.
Hey, thanks for watching the Spoods, and, I hope you guys continue to watching his Spoods. The guy put a lot of hard work for this stuff, and the fact that he gets joy from just making it for his own amusement, I don't think many other, abridgers actually do that. I've seen them do it just for the viewers and get desperate for it. Dante's not like that. I like it. I like how he does his work. Burped again. Excuse me. But, yeah, hope that answered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, you can go ahead and, comment on the video, and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for your time. Laters!
As for the fans, I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching this whole thing, even though I came in at episode 9. I guess I don't have much to say. You guys are awesome, and thank you for enjoying the series, even though I came out at the end. Hopefully I lived up to everyone else's expectations for the Sherry and Ada revamp, so hopefully I did well. Thanks, guys.
I love you. That's not all I was gonna fucking say, I promise. So, I already said what I wanted to say in the credits. Seriously, thank you for just, giving the time of day just to watch a 3-hour series. And especially for those of you who stuck from, the very beginning, from, the shitty episode 1, or whenever you came in, really, because, I actually finished a fucking Spoot series. Holy shit! And it took almost 2 years to do that! Holy shit! I can't... just... It all paid off! It's my work! That is it! Yes! Duh! Oh... You guys are amazing. My VAs are amazing. Some of them, Houdini things happen to them. We don't talk about that, but they were amazing while they were with me. I appreciate every one of you for being here, for supporting this series, whether you were voicing it or not, or whether you were just leaving me a comment that just said you enjoyed this, or your thumbs up that showed me that you enjoyed this. I love hearing that you enjoyed it. And that is what I fucking do this for. Not money. Never will be doing this for money. I do this so I can hear your pleasure in the shit I wrote. That's it. So, thank you from the bottom of my fucking heart. Okay, so that should wrap up the Q&A. Next up in our little things to do in our closure for Resident Evil 6 is a little fun facts, aka Did You Knows. All full with all the fun facts of everything you may have not known for all the episodes. When I get to it.